Okay, I'll sit here and spend a little more time with y'all. What else can we do except the things that we can do? But quite a bit of what we're doing is at home, or supposed to be anyway. So it's Friday night, 8:51, the 10th of April. And my records didn't come again. That's, very disappointing. Like I said, I paid extra for them to come early, and yep, that's the first thing I'll say, because I just tell you exactly what's going on with me, right? Just go like that, and then we'll get to the music. I sure hope they arrive tomorrow. I recently ordered from Laser's Edge for the first time, and just the first time I just played media mail, and the records were here a week later. This time I paid priority, hoping to have them arrive in 3 or 4 days. It'll be a week tomorrow. That second order. So that's been my big disappointment of the day. But the rest of the day has been good and interesting. I deleted a couple of comments, and I talked about it on Facebook, and I'm really glad that I did. Not really realizing that I was asking for support. My thought was just to share it and see what people have to say. And it really led to a very enlightening conversation that's still going on, actually. I'll cap it by saying it has to do with something I've been dealing with since I was a child, from people in my community, who I owe nothing to, and it's an unfortunate thing, it is. It's unfortunate, You get it from all ways. I better take this off, because you can hear it, and they may have by now said, "Oh, we're going to copyright block this." I'll tell you what that was if you don't recognize it in a second. But the whole idea that anyone else has anything to say about what I listen to. Yeah, I love this music. It saved my life. So I love sharing with you my enthusiasm for music from around the world and from many different eras. Just now I was online, like I said, talking about this, and man, I know some good people, and I know some interesting people. I know a couple of folks who are fledgling politicians, and if you see this, I'm not saying your name, but you politician types are the flakiest people I know. I'm saying that out loud, and if you're insulted, I really wish you would think about what the hell. God, some of the things that these guys, it's like, what in the hell are you people thinking about? And why would you want to be a leader? I mean, you seem to be so full of this and that and the other thing, which amounts to a lot of bullshit, as opposed to being, to me, a lot of my friends who seem to have really solid, they're regular people with their foibles and problems, but they're just solid people. Those are the kind of people I wish were leaders. The people I know that are endeavoring for office and leadership are just, they really strike me as they don't know themselves, okay? That's just my 2 cents, as I always say. It's just Dereck sharing what he sees. Ain't no expert. This is what we were listening to. This goes back, 1974. Jerry Goodman and Jan Hammer, like children, doing a thing while being in the Mahavishnu Orchestra. This is very Mahavishnu Orchestra plus. And it's a wonderful album. If you haven't heard this, Jan Hammer, very, very well known for his TV music, but just a fantastic musician from, I believe, the Czech Republic. I got into that because I played this, Mahavishnu Orchestra, John McLaughlin, Between Nothingness and Eternity, energy, spirit, amazing outpouring of energy and everything. This music was like leaping out of them. They could hardly... Rick Laird, the bass player, just basically held it down. It was like there was no point in trying to do what everyone else was doing. Someone had to help hold it down. Because even though Billy Cobham is the consummate drummer, and he did his job amazingly, his Flights of Fancy, just stunning drumming, the entire album. Mahavishnu Orchestra, among my favorites. I didn't get to see that version. I got to see Mahavishnu Mark II with Narada Michael Walden. That was incredible. Jean-Luc Ponty was in the band as well. I really enjoyed that. What I played right before that, Blue Lines by Massive Attack. Influential album from Bristol, okay? Okay? This is the music of the people. You know, this is intelligent. You know, trip hop is what it kicked off. Is that right? Or something like that. Excellent. Still, the whole album. I played both sides. Massive Attack, Blue Lines. You all know that? Okay, from Animal Collective. I just pulled it. I didn't choose it. I pulled it and I said, okay, I'm going to play it because it's not something I would choose, but I ended up with this. I'm not sure. I don't think I bought this. I might have. Panda Bear from Animal Collective. What is the name of this? Oh, yeah. Person Pitch. And this is good. This band, I got to see them live, and that makes a difference. It does. They were very good live. Not much to see, but mostly to stand up close and watch them play and actually make the music, manipulating those samplers and beatboxes really well. And I love the way that they harmonize. They don't sound like Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, but it just has that essence to me. Person Pitch by Panda Bear. Enjoyed this tonight. A whole different direction, but one of my favorite albums takes me all the way back to high school. High Tide, Sea Shanties. I've had this since about 1971. There's the proof. My name, there it is. It's back when I was a kid and put my name on the records. You guys know about this record. It's a classic dark progressive sought after album. Tony Hill on guitar, Simon House on violin, who went on. I saw him with Hawkwind when I saw Hawkwind on the Space Ritual tour. I was really excited about being able to see him play live because I had this and knew who he was, and that was just extra flavor for me, you know, to see Hawkwind. I knew who Lemmy was and the whole band and Stasia, but Simon House, it was really cool. They were tripping their asses off. I wasn't imagining it. I was right up front. And boy, you know, they blew the doors out. This is an amazing dark album. Tony Hill's vocals very much sound like a Jim Morrison, but an even darker Jim Morrison. This is an excellent album. Dark and twisted. Dark. German indie band that morphed into a pop band, and I like the pop stuff they do. Exmal Deutschland. Viva. And this is where they're bridging, moving from that harsher indie sound that they had when they were on the early 4AD records into a slicker sound, which I really like. I like this whole album. Exmal Deutschland. Viva. I like the way this album was produced, too. I do. some ambience. One side of this earlier. Worlds in a Small Room by Steve Jansen and Richard Barbieri. They just recently put some stuff out on vinyl. I missed out. It's limited edition, and I just missed out. I was going to try to order it, but I missed. It's all sold out now. But this is just some wonderful music. This is a Japanese reissue of this album. Not reissue, but an issue of it. Because I believe this came out pretty much at the same time of its general release. Beautiful, ambient, floating music. Mick Karn does not play on this album. It's just Jansen and Barbieri. What else is out here? What is this? Oh, this goes inside of there, okay. So, let me share this now. Is it still out? Yes, it is. So, earlier today, I decided to play my own album because I haven't listened to this in years. Digital Sex, Essence. There we are, and there I am right in the middle. Myself, my brother John Tingle, and my brother Steve Sheehan. And Greg Tishless was the drummer on a couple tracks on here. For the most part of this album, when we put this album out, we had broken up a couple times, and we were broken up, and we were just trying to preserve the music. So I play a lot of the instruments on this album, on many of the tracks. And I'm real proud of this. I really am. It's held up well. You know, it's Google it if you haven't heard it. You can listen to it online like everything else. But I posted it on Facebook, and it generated an interesting discussion among friends. And a good friend of mine up in Wisconsin chimed in and said that he thought that it was probably my best work. And I thought about it, and I said, that's a very nice compliment. I appreciate that. But objectively, it's really not true. I see what he means. Now, in the context, this album, this sound that I came up with, because I came up with the sound on my own on a 4-track and presented it to Steve and the other guys. John, the guitar player, who was my roommate at the time, he wasn't into this music. He didn't really like what I was writing, but he wasn't doing anything else, and that's kind of how this started. It's been quite a saga. Really proud of this music. It was my vision, and I presented it to Steve, and he wrote some words. I had already written some words, but so what it did was it led me to think, well, let me make sure that I'm not talking out the side of my neck. I really don't think this is the best thing I've released. I've released a lot of records. And one that I think is definitely better, it's not my best, is my album Flyover that I put out in 2013, which is based on this movie soundtrack that I did, Flyover Country, indie film that didn't do anything. But do any of you have this record? So I went ahead and played this, and I am able to be objective about my own stuff. I am. There's a lot of my old stuff I can't listen to. So there's a bunch of stuff that just really hasn't aged well, and there's other stuff that it gets boring. So I was really happy to say, if you haven't seen this, folks, I'm so proud of this, my splatter vinyl copy. These are all gone. Like I said, it's sold out. I've got a handful of personal copies. But I'm proud to say I worked my ass off on this. Tim Guthrie, who did all the artwork, worked his ass off on it too. And the work, you can hear it in the composition, the playing, the arrangements. This is definitely a step forward. I can imagine, had I been able to keep a band like Digital Sex together, moving into being able to play these songs. Since then, I've tried to put a band together twice to play this material, and it's really hard to find people who can play it the way I want it, and I do want it a certain way. I know what I want. So I was really happy. I played those, my own records. I'll share that with you. We were talking about Richard Teitelbaum passing away, so I put this on. And wow, is this just fantastic. Man, it really is. So it's a duet between violin and Teitelbaum with claviers, synthesizers, and it looks like maybe some devices that he made of his own. The C between. This was totally engaging, so much so that the first track, Agora Nada, even though it was 9 minutes, I actually picked it up and played it again. I love this stuff, and it's just, again, so very mind expanding. There's much to be learned from being able to hear music like that, I'm telling you. Okay, the last thing that's sitting out, no CDs today. Another old album of mine. I've had this a long time in the collection. Show of Hands, formerly Anthrax, on the Elektra label, 1970. Bought this years ago as a cutout. It's a mixture of, it starts up like it's going to be prog rock, and then it gets bluesy and kind of country. A mixture. But actually, it's really rather good. I like it more now than I ever did, and it's kind of nice that in time, over time, I'm able to just take off. We have filters in time, depending on what's going on and what we've been listening to, and it will color our opinion, and we'll be listening more with our opinion than actually listening. And so I really listen now when I listen to everything. I love it. Last thing I'll say is I don't have anything to show right quick, but I was asked about some rap, and you all know, that this really is what I love, and it's part of my life, it's part of my journey, and I'm a citizen of the universe. But one of the well-known hip-hop artists who I love and respect deeply, the main guy is gone, is Gangstar. I forget the cat's name, see? I'd have to start playing it, but that man was intelligent, and he had a really smooth flow. Now, there's many others. I have hip-hop, but that is not my main thing, and this is what I listen to. This is my world. I love sharing it with y'all. I really do. Okay, geez, man, the time goes quickly. I'm just going to stop and load this up. I hope you're all well. I got to just go ahead and let it go because the time is dragging on, and we're still in the middle of this having to stay home, basically, and I do see where it's getting to some of us. I even recognize it a bit in myself, a bit of tension. I'm trying to hang, though, but I'm seeing where there are many flare-ups, and just where it's just really becoming apparent that time is going on, things have really changed, and so much is uncertain, and that really does play havoc with some people. And I do have empathy, not sympathy, but I understand, because I'm there with y'all. We're trying to do what we understand to do to try to get this pandemic under control, or to get past this wave of it. So I hope everyone's doing okay. I do. And I'm glad. I hear from you all, a lot of people here and online, and I'm full on Facebook, but people continually are trying to ask to be my friend, and people are sending me these messages. Whatever I say here, it doesn't matter. People are just really connecting, okay? I'm grateful that the spirit of what I'm about comes through, because you people feel it, and I'm glad, I'm happy to share. I'm happy to be trying to be constructive. The thing is, and this is what's so unfortunate about people who follow Trump, because they're under some kind of spell, is that it's seemingly, if people's hearts aren't even close to being in a good place, no matter what you say or do, it falls on deaf ears. But the reason why I carry on is because of my own journey where I've changed. I really could have been bad news. Uh, the stories I can tell. It's a good thing I got rid of my guns. Okay, let me put it. Let me just tell you that. All right. It's a good thing I got rid of my guns a long time ago. But I do encounter where people let me know that something that they encounter here, something I say or something about my vibe helps them change or kind of wake up a little bit. I hear about that regularly, so I because I'm human, when I feel like it, depending on my stress level and depending on what the input is, I will react to some of the negative stuff. But again, what I am happy I'm able to do is I basically turn it into a learning experience for me and for a lot of people. It's like there is not a good reason to not want to be helpful to others, regardless. Anything else is an indication of some sort of something is in the mix that needs to be looked at. Put it like that. How's that? How diplomatic is that? All right. I've said enough. Talk to you in a minute.